Yeah.
It's time! Treasure hunting in the sharky waters of the World Wide Web with Pirate Queen Raae. And today we go to do the mix pod, and it's authorized, unauthorized, something.
It's passwordless authorization.
Oh,
And it's been 2 weeks since we opened this project, because for the last 2 weeks we have been live streaming every day at 2 o'clock. So I even managed to put this stream up as 2 o'clock. So I'm really sorry if you're here at 2 o'clock and realizing we've already done this stream, because we on Saturdays we stream at 11 o'clock Central European time. And yeah, sorry about that, but that's how it goes. So we haven't opened this project in 2 weeks. So we'll start by diagramming a little bit and figuring out what we're going to do. And then I'll do the what, why, and how when we figure it out. But it is some kind of completion of our passwordless authentic authorization, I guess, where we're authorizing, we're not authenticating. I'm just gonna move me over there, and then because then it looks like I'm looking at you, honey, instead of just looking into space. And then I'll share my screen, and we can get going. I do feel like though 2 o'clock is a better is a better time for my awake, like how awake I am. I sometimes look when we're creating clips from this stream. I look at the clips and I see that I am tired, but I hope that it's still engaging and you get something out of it, even though I'm almost asleep. No, I'm not, but almost. So this is our TL draw diagram. I think the link should be in the description if you want to head on in and have a little look around. We've been, I think, this would be the 8th stream in this project. So this is where we're at now. And you can see we've been doing loads of things, but what we are working on now is authentication-less authorization. So we want to authorize people without them having to log in, and we'll authorize them with just asking for a key, aka a password, for the Mixpod that they're trying to use. So have a little look at what Mixpod is. Mixpod is our app for creating for curating podcast episodes into a new shareable podcast feed. So let's say you want to create a kind of like a podcast, but it's kind of like a mixtape, but for podcast episodes. So you can take podcast episodes from different podcasts and you can put it into one feed, because podcasts are just built on top of RSS. So we can rebuild new RSS feeds off of the episodes that you're picking. So that's Mixpod, and we wanted to make it as easy for us code-wise as possible. And also we're exploring things that we want to explore. So in this application made with Astro, we are trying to get away with no client-side JavaScript, just to really challenge ourselves. While the streams we've been doing every day for the last 2 weeks, we've been building a podcast website where we do have client-side JavaScript, because we want to have a persistent player. So we're challenging ourselves with different things in these different projects.
Look at this!
Oh, Stefan is here.
Hello! Good morning, or whatever.
I think it is morning, and I think because of daylight savings time, I think it's later in the morning for the Americans this week. So that's kind of cool.
But is he really American?
Maybe not. Who knows? Who knows? I mean,
knows.
it's the worldwide interwebs, isn't it?
Yeah. Doesn't matter where you at.
I am again having screen issues. I'm gonna following Jason's thread on better USB hubs because there is a USB hub play going around because he had issues on his stream and
Oh,
I am having
look at this!
issues on my stream.
11
Oh,
a.m.
11
here too.
Oh, so
they have
Europe,
the same
Central.
times in America as us. Who knew?
Well, who knew? Well, I am
He's
happy
in
the
Europe.
Europeans are joining in.
He's in the
You know,
Europes.
we
Yeah,
don't always have to cater to the tech America.
Tech America is sleeping.
Even though we love them as well. No, that was the 2:00 stream I was thinking because now it's like the middle of the night in the States. Anyway, I am just rambling on because I can't see anything on my external monitor. So I'll have to do some.
I can say something then. I don't know. Well, probably device not connected, so the Queen can't hear me. Okay. I have a gift here for the Queen. Happy birthday and Christmas. Because I promised her she'd get something later. And I've been having this sitting up here with me on the lab loft for like a month, maybe two. Not two. So her birthday was in January, and you know, Christmas. Hello?
Hello, I am, but the camera doesn't want to work now.
Stefan says, those limitations like no client-side JS make this super interesting to watch.
Oh, thank you. And now I'm
Yes.
realizing maybe actually this is a better angle because now when I want to talk to you guys, I look at this screen and I look straight into your eyes. But when I code, I look like this and it looks like I'm coding. But then I need to like flip my screen because I'm not looking at the code, am I? And I think I can do that. Look at that!
Are you YOLOing here or what?
I am now I'm like, oh, I want to look into the camera, but the camera is here. I am YOLOing because I can't seem to get my stuff to work. The mic is working, but the other camera doesn't want to work. So let's just YOLO on with this angle. I'll just have to remember to look into this camera when I'm speaking, and my crown will be on the other side. For any clips we're making, make it all interesting. So
yep, you like changing it up.
Yeah, we do. I kind of like this setup. I like this setup better. I'm sorry for the people watching who are not into this meta discussion, but I kind of like this. And it looks like I still have my good mic, but I did hear you say you have a Christmas present for me.
Yeah, I do. So that's the point of the story is, so I've been holding it back because
I'm very excited for this.
I'm not sure if it's the right thing, and it's good. I did hold it back because I changed my mind now.
You're not giving me what you just shown everyone?
I have to open it up and switch some stuff out. Yeah.
Okay.
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 Sometimes it's better to I always say that to the Pirate Princess when she asks me some kind of outrageous demand. I say, I need to think about that. What I really want to say is no. And but I say I want to think about that because I need to think about that. Maybe I want to say yes, but she always says that's just because you really mean no. She doesn't use that voice though. She's very sweet. But yeah, so it's a good thing I was thinking about that. But I know a lot of yacht devs out there. You think that you should dolt anyway, but I'm more into the thinking. What does this actually mean? And a good thing I did that here because, yeah, you'll understand when you get it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave it then. I'm gonna let you keep thinking about the Christmas present.
No,
and
I'm done thinking now.
Okay, I am looking forward to this Christmas present.
Yeah, and birthday. It's both.
And birthday. It's both. Oh my god, this is gonna be. Whew, exciting.
Enormous.
So
It's
for those who's
enormous.
been watching the screen, I just like walk through how you create a Mixpod, and all of this is server-side rendered. So there's no JavaScript on the client. Mix of JavaScript episodes. And as you can see, when I do save here, I'm allowed to edit and I'm allowed to search and all that because I do have the password up here. So that's being passed along when I do edit. You know, the key is still there. The key is still there. When I'm searching, the key is still up here. You might not see it because the browser is little, but there's like an actual key. Key equals giant red Chewbacca up there. But I saw that when I choose to go back to your Mixpod, we lose that key. So we need to make sure that that is passed along also to when you go back, if it's already there. So we have to remember that. And then we're going to see what we're going to do today, because I think what I wrote on last week or 2 weeks ago on the last stream, we said next time, or off stream, I have not had time off stream, we're going to need a way to publicly or need a way to access public URL and editable URLs. I think the title for this stream is like, we're going to make a little widget for it. And our inspiration is TL Draw, where if you click share here, you can copy the share link, and then you can choose to have it be read only and then copy the share link. And those are two different links. And they have them as they're denoted by two different letters. So we have the view and the read, which I'm guessing is read write. And then it's two different IDs for the different views. But what we've decided is to do the URL and then have a key put on there. That is the secret. So then we have to make sure now that it's also on the URL going back to the Mixpod if you choose not to add an episode. So we'll just fix that. That's a little bug. And then we are going to go and try to create this widget. So I am thinking that if you are, where's my local host? It's here. Let's connect these so we know where we're at. So when we're on this page, so if you've created this Mixpod, you then have that password, or you can see that password. I think we should both have a widget that would let us draw this. So we should have a widget. So the share widget, it should have a copy editable URL, and then copy read only or editable URL. But then I also think it should like show the password. So you could also give people just then the address for the Mixpod without the key in it, and then people can like pop in the key themselves. So that could be cool. So that means that we'll need, this is too small for everyone. Is that big enough? Yeah. Should be, and also showcase, or like, I mean, maybe like hide the little key, the password, and then make it, no, I mean, it's visible in the URL anyway. So we can display the password so that the person can like give it, or maybe like write it down or keep it somewhere instead of bookmarking the page. And then on the non-editable URL, we should have the option to input the password and get into that editable mode. Input the password.
Yeah, I like it.
And I don't think it should always be there. I think there should be like a little button that will toggle on and off if you see that option. So we're probably not going to do that this will be the next stream, but the share widget will be this stream. And then the non-editable URL, this will be some other time. I am headed. Oh, you're over there now. I am headed to Portugal for 3 weeks.
Yep.
So the next stream will actually be in a month, everyone.
Wow. How
But
are we gonna survive?
how are we gonna survive? I'm gonna miss streaming because I probably won't stream for a month. But we have enough streams and enough clips in the backlog that if you keep following us on Twitter or YouTube, there will be little, short form videos coming out to keep you engaged and entertained.
Short form videos. Okay.
And then I'm pretty sure that the Pirate Princess and I and you will be creating, because you're coming down for a week as well, and the Pirate Princess is staying for 2 weeks. So there will be lots of vlog style videos coming out on the channel if you head on over to Queen Raae at YouTube. So follow along there if you want to see what we're up to when we're not live streaming.
From Pirate Portugal.
From Pirate Portugal. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Anyway, let's skip that. I am just trying to postpone having to code this because I have no idea how I'm gonna make it happen. So we'll just have to start with what we know. That's usually, if you don't know what you're gonna do, it often becomes clear while I'm coding, at least for me. So the things that I know that I'll need a little, a little section, a little aside widget. So we'll make that. And it would be pretty easy.
Asides widget? What do you mean?
I'm going to use the aside HTML element. I think for this, because it's not a part of the kind of main flow of the Mixpod page, but it's an aside. Yeah. So that's just like a tiny technical thing there with the HTML. And we should be able to show the editable URL and the non-editable URL. That should be pretty easy. I mean, this isn't hard when I start thinking about it now. And then we should display the password, and we have that in the key. Yeah, we can make this happen. That's why it's so good to write things out. And even better, get one of these to have next to yourself. And you just have it next to yourself on the desk while you're coding. This is a brand new one. I haven't started on it, but you can just have it open. And whenever you tackle a problem or you find something you need, you just write it down. Or if you're trying to work through a problem, you can write it down like I did here on screen, but you just write it down here and your thoughts will kind of magically become clearer on what you're supposed to do. So highly recommend doing that. And I must say, I'm much better at doing this when I'm on stream, and it does make such a difference. When I code by myself, I forget to write it out first, and it shows. So, okay. So let's get into the code. Let's not be afraid of the code, Benedicta. So we have that index page. So this is our index page for the Mixpod. And I think we created a little bit of a state. We created a variable to hold the state if we're in edit or listen only mode. So I think maybe we should call this listen only mode, rename it, because, it's not read only in this case, it's listen only. Because that's what I said out loud. So I feel like, okay, we can listen in edit mode as well. So listen only sounds better to me. And then we'll add that under the header section here. We'll add an aside. And what did we want? We wanted we wanted to call it like share this Mixpod.
Is it gift?
Okay, gift. Well, I think gift. Asking. I like it because gift would be maybe then like if you can't keep on editing it, you're like gifting it. But I don't know if it's completely understandable.
No. Maybe share is kind of what everybody says on the internet.
So, and then I'm going to use a menu because this is going to be an actionable set of things to do. Because we want to make it we want to make it copy pastable. Like I think we should make one of those. No, we can't, because that would be front-end client-side JavaScript. We'll add a sprinkle maybe of client-side JavaScript in the end. But for now, we're just going to have to make it so that the person can copy-paste it themselves and not click a button to copy-paste it. So we'll just, then we don't need a menu. We'll just create we'll create the UL like a list. And there my screen goes again. Oh, it's back.
What do you mean goes? It goes black?
It goes completely black. I think this, and there it goes again. I think the signal just cuts out. And I am imagining
it is the USB.
It is the USB. So it's either the USB hub, or I think probably it's the little converter that I have, because I'm doing it from HDMI to USB-C, because my USB hub doesn't do HDMI. So I have to, like, this is going to be me in Portugal. I am going to be ordering the correct things for this. But
this is going to be me? What do you mean by that?
In Portugal, I will be, while on vacation, I'm going to be researching these things and get some new supplies waiting for me when I come back.
I got an answer from Stefan. I asked him, what are you cooking, Stefan? And he says, okay, I'll put it up. This is important. So far, it's just potatoes. The pirate princess loves potatoes. It's her favorite, at least vegetable, maybe thing. She's talking about potatoes all the time. And all the kids in her class, they know that she loves potatoes.
I mean,
why does she love them? I don't get it.
I don't know. She's on this like potato. It's her thing. And
for years.
Yeah, and she's just like so much into potatoes, and she talks about it all the time. So for her birthday, her friends drew a potato on her birthday card.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you think about, like, it's a circle. Like it's it's one of the, I don't know, it's one of the most boring vegetables. I think maybe that's why, like, she just like take something bland and plain and just make it funny.
But she likes the taste, you know. I boil potatoes for her, or pommes frites, French fries, or whatever. So I'll keep on reading. So far it's just potatoes. We'll also decide while doing. Yeah, that's how we roll here too. Chopping onions now. Yeah, onions. I like onions. At least if you fry them. I'm not so much into, well, I don't actually like raw onions. I never eat that. I never eat raw onions. Do you like raw onions, Queen Raae?
I do like the red onions. I kind of like that in the salad.
What? Okay.
So now I'm a little hesitant here, because
yes, tell us.
If we were doing client-side JavaScript, I would do window window URL. I would get the part, like I would get the full URL here from the window. So I would do window something.
Yeah.
It's window your location, or window just a URL. But I'm not, like, if we're really going to challenge ourselves, we can't do this, because so our JavaScript up here is client side.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's server side. So how could we get the base URL for our site here? I know that when we deploy to Netlify, it will be a environment variable that will actually that would tell us what the URL it will be deployed to. Because what I don't want to do, mixpod.app, because in case you're in a development preview or you're locally, that wouldn't match up with the environment. So I know in Netlify that we are currently hosting it, but we're actually hosting it in Railway these days. So Railway deploy environment variables. Let's see if they have something like that.
We have it on Railway?
So right now, mixpod.app is running on Netlify, but the tiny stack version that we are doing all this work on, because remember, we're using the tiny stack, so we need to host our own database, our own SQLite database.
And
So
that's the
we need,
railway.
yeah, and then we need access to the file system, and we also need access for the we need the file to stay there between deploys. And I don't think that's possible with Netlify, because the concept of Netlify and kind of the Jamstack originally was that every deploy shall be completely atomic, so that they don't rely on anything else. So they wipe the whole deploy, and then you do a new deploy.
Yeah.
But maybe you could ship an SQLite. No, but for the Astro folks out there, yesterday, Astro, released, or not yesterday, 2 days ago, Astro released Astro DB.
Yep.
So if you would like to see us after we've completed the build for Mixpod on TinyStack, which is pretty soon,
Yeah.
would you like to see us convert it to Astro and Astro DB? So it's already on Astro, but would you want us to do a live stream? See, now I'm trying to looking at everybody in the camera, looking at it. Do you want us to swap out our own hosted SQLite database and use Astro DB, and then we could host it on Netlify like we are used to? But we have been toying with the tiny stack, where we are using a Docker container on Railway to package our own SQLite database with it. Because we've been using Drizzle ORM for it, and Drizzle ORM is what Astro chose for their Astro DB examples. And they also chose libSQL, which is a clone of SQLite. So all the database code that we have been doing would port over, I think, almost without change. That would be a fun stream to see. So let me know
if you guys
would
have
like me
some
to see
other
that.
favorite database you would like us to use, you can also suggest that and get your boss to pay us $100,000 in sponsorship to do it, because that would be more work, won't it?
Yes. So tell your boss, if you work at a database company, that we can showcase how to do this with that database. Because that could be a good series now that we have Mixpod. When we have Mixpod up and running, it could be interesting to just make Mixpod with all kinds of different database technologies, just to showcase like what is the difference and what are the changes needed between the different database services and technologies.
And also show that it's not really that hard to just switch.
Yes.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
Well, one of our former customers, Seda, just are teasing that there's going to be some Drizzle ORM and Seda connection happening. So then we could even showcase, how our code is already ready, both for Astro DB and for the Seda Drizzle integration. So anyway,
I keep commenting in Twitch with these. They have these cool emojis. Just need to try them,
Okay, but now we're trying to figure out, back to the task at hand, we are trying to figure out if we get a variable with the deploy URL.
Yeah.
So let's see, shareable. They had something here, shareable variables. Now these are the ones that you put in yourself. Multiline, referencing another services variable. Okay, let's see. How can I get the deploy URL in Railway?
Yep.
Railway as a env variable.
Oh yeah.
And this is the same article we were on.
What do you mean?
Unable to find the deployment URL on the Railway project. But I'm able to find these deployment links. Project EDI. No. Maybe you can't. I mean, it's not
Oh,
always. It's one of those things that I remember. I remember that Netlify like kind of blew my mind a little bit when they had that you could actually find the address. So let's not have that stop us, but let's at least, use it as an end variable. We can also look at astro URL. We could maybe get the current page URL. Oh, it looks like maybe we can get the URL even server side. Look at that. So it will give us.
oh, that solves it then, maybe.
Yeah, that solves it. Because you can probably look at the logs and stuff and figure out where it comes from.
So
Well,
the
then we're
pirate
good.
princess is not in the house today. She is on the west side. Pretty crazy, but yeah, she's on the west side, and she actually likes the west side, wouldn't you say?
Well, she goes to school there, so she has friends there, and as long as she has friends, she likes it.
Yeah. Yeah, the west side is not so bad. For all the people who think that the west side is really bad, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. It's actually quite good.
Okay, so yeah, we do get. So that was a long tangent, everyone, that we could have just gotten from Astro URL. Boy, because I was in client side land and not in server side land. This is such a good reprogramming. So Astro URL. So then we can just say that the edit URL, will be the origin. And I think we're going to build them ourselves because we might be on different pages. So let's build these ourselves. So we just need the origin and then the path name, and then we'll add the key. So
why did you call it
thinking?
Astro URL? It is
Because
called that.
Yeah, because Astro gives us a lot of convenience methods, and this is one
Yeah.
of the convenience methods.
Thank you, Astro.
You know,
So do you think that
thank you.
Fusty TV was actually
From
on the
Astro.
Astro team?
So Ula's referencing one of our other streams where somebody was asking us like, what was our first impressions with Astro and how are we feeling about it, and then kind of alluding to being familiar or like maybe not on the team but like familiar with the team or something like that. So we don't know who that was, but it was fun. I got to talk about Gatsby, so and what I'm missing
Gastro,
from Gastro. Okay,
as you call it.
let's get this done, Ola. We're chatting too much today. It's because we've been,
Mm.
you know,
I'm
let's.
chatting because it's morning for us, and I like morning.
Yes, you do like mornings.
Morning
So
is
let's
good for
create a
me.
new URL, and we want to just make it so that we make it properly. Well, that's actually not because that's not what we've been doing. We have just been like YOLO string concatenating things, but we just actually need, this part, and then we need the origin and then the path name. So I already have it here. We have the key. So the only thing we need here actually is Astro URL origin. And then for this one, we need Astro origin. So we can also just do const listen only. And then our edit URL is listen only. And then we add the key to it. I'm conflicted inside because it is better to create URLs by using new URL, because then you will also get some error handling and making sure that they are correct. But for now, we'll just do this and see if we get to the state that we want. So we are in this this mix pod, and then we'll write, listen. Actually, it should be a DL definition list, and then we'll do DT, which is then we'll do the listen first. So that will be DT, and then which is a definition title, and then it's the entry. And then it's DD, which is definition. Oh God, why are you so clever? Trying to be so clever. So we'll do DD, and then I think isn't it DD for the actual definition? Okay.
Oh.
So that's our listen URL. I'm just gonna double check the DT. Oh, we got Drammens Tidende. I forgot to put a little HTML on the behind here. It's DL, definition list, and then it's DT, which is definition title, and DD is the thing that you're defining. So let's use that. And Stefan is Googling a side, or do you want me to Google a side? Is that, am I going to get into trouble Googling a side?
Oh.
To one side, out of the way. Let's do aside HTML. So HTML aside. Oh, we didn't want the v3, we want the MDN docs. So an aside is an HTML element representing a portion of a document whose content is only indirectly related to the document's main content. Sides are frequently presented as sidebars or call-out boxes. So we can debate if it's indirectly related or not, but I'm going to use them in aside for now. The funny thing about semantic HTML is that there's always room to not improve, but it's often debatable, it's guidelines. So it's often debatable when to use what, but I think when it comes to semantic HTML, it's better to try than to just ignore it completely, because the semantic HTML is the foundation of the site. And if you get the semantic HTML pretty good, that is so much better than most, and it does help for those who use screen readers or other assistive technologies. And yeah, so try and read up on it and try to use things that make sense for you when you're reading these definitions. And sometimes you'll realize, if you actually go and read the definition, that it's been used wrong a lot. So I don't remember which one, but it was one when I was reading up on this that I realized that I'd completely missed the mark on. I think it was cite. I just used them completely wrong. So, but like, give it a go. DT. So now we have editable, or like, what should we invite somebody to edit? Or editable link. Editable. Listen only URL.
I found a fuzzy TV.
What did Teal Draw call this? Just let's steal some copy and read only link and share link. Okay, so listen only link to share with friends, to gift friends, to gift a friend. And then we have they just called it share, so they don't say that it's edible, but
edible. What do you mean?
Listen
Eatable?
only link. Editable. I want to say that collaboration URL. That's a better word. Collaboration URL to invite a friend, or to share with a friend. To share.
I found a fuzzy TV on Twitch.
Yeah, I find that person too. I found it on Twitch. Yeah.
You found it?
Yeah, I just clicked the person's name and found it, but I didn't find anything more out about the person.
It says, a self-taught web developer turned astronaut. Now moving on to Twitch to show some folks that I can code and learn from others. So when you're astronaut, you're using Astro, aren't you?
I think that is debatable. I think it's both, that you might work there or you are using it.
Wow. I like that.
Okay, so listen only link to gift a friend. And share with a friend. So now you can copy paste these. And I think at this point, we've done all we can to do it without a client-side JavaScript, but I do want to make these copy-paste pasteable by a button, you know, because that would make sense. And then we'll showcase the password. Password. Only share with someone you want to collaborate with. Well, maybe only share with somebody, because I kind of want to say that they can just share this URL. Well, anyway, code. The password is then, that's our key, isn't it? What did we call the key? Provided key. Provided key. And then we'll make this small because it's just a little note. Okay. Password.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm going to keep it as an H2 for now because that is semantically correct. Okay, so now we have share this Mixpod, listen only link to gift a friend, collaborate URL to share with a friend. And I think we'll just quickly add a little P around these, which I think is legal, but I'm going to change that and fix it with styling later because I wanted some space, but no, that didn't give us any space. Well, we're just going to keep it like that. So this means that I can now grab this link, copy it over here and gift it to, or give it to somebody, and they will be able to edit this playlist or this Mixpod. But it's taking up a lot of space. So we want to make it a little sharing widget up here. So let's do, did I say we weren't going to do any styling and then we do styling? This seems like a theme of mine.
Yeah.
So position absolute, and then top 0, right 0, right 0, and then we'll do font size, just make it a smaller font size overall. So I think we'll do -1 or 2. That's how it looks. Okay. We don't want it to be actually absolute because we don't want it to be relative to what it's inside. You want it to be fixed. Then it's relative to the page, isn't it? No.
Yeah.
Or is it static? What are these again? Static. Position absolute to window.
All right.
It is. Yeah, I was pretty sure it's fixed. So why are you not all the way to the right?
Don't want
Here's
to.
our side. Aside.
It's nothing serious.
Oh, I forgot a semicolon. That's been a while. Okay, so share this. We'll give it a background. And I'm just going to use, there we go. I'm going to change these to our variables after the fact, but let's just do this more quickly. So why is the top 0? Oh, it's probably a margin in there somewhere. So let's do margin 0. Yep. And then I'm going to show you a super neat trick to how to show and hide this without JavaScript. Because that's kind of what we want, right? We don't want it to show. We want to have that little share button that TL Draw has, but we don't want to use client-side JavaScript, so we can do that with a CSS way of doing it with CSS. So we have this. It's now there. Okay. So now comes the trick. I've done it a couple of times, but I don't know if I remember if I get it correct each time. But what we want is that we want a checkbox. And I guess it's input, type, and then the type is checkbox. And the idea is that if the checkbox is checked, we will show the page, and if it's not, or show the content below, and if it's not, we won't. So let's do a div on this. So that's our content inside, right? Why is it not formatting correctly? Where did you put in an extra thing? Prettier. I'm gonna remove you soon, prettier. Okay, let's try.
Prettier is evil.
What happened? Is it when I edit the input? Well, this is where I should, commit, right? So that I know we have a working state before I go off on a tangent. Okay.
Do it.
Commit. We'll just give it a nice name of VIP, work in project.
Yeah.
Work in project? Work in progress.
Did you get work in projects?
Work in projects. Well, that's what we do. We're working on projects. We're working on projects. And while we are singing and my brain needs a little bit of a break, I need to tell you that I found
the duck.
No, I know. I'm going to be more self-absorbed than that. I am going to show the Mambo number 5.
The Mambo number duck.
Okay. I am going to go and I'm going to stop screen sharing. And then I'm going to share that exact tab because then I think I can share the audio with you. So this is a blast from the past. It's 2 years ago. And a little bit of serverless on your side, a little bit of Gatsby's all you need. A little bit of Jamstack is what I see. A little bit of static in the sun. A little bit of alley all night long. A little bit of lighthouse all test fast. Can you hear it? A little bit of you makes my site fast.
Yes! Come on, how good was that?
A little bit of. Yep. Did you hear it? Did you hear the sound?
I heard it, and I filmed it, kind of. But there was no sound on the filming, of course, because I had my ears on.
The headphones. So that's all there is. I'm thinking that I can put this into the script, which has this AI feature. So I'm thinking we can put this into the script, which has this AI feature, and we can just make it say Astro instead of Gatsby with like AI. Should we do that?
Yeah.
And then it will be like a little bit of Astro or something like AI voice. Okay, my brain had the break, so we can go back to regular scheduling. But I found that because I keep singing on these streams, which is so funny because my all my childhood I was told that I can't sing. And I can't hit the notes. But if I sing alone there, it was like okay-ish. But if I sing together with somebody, it's like really awful. But I do love dancing and actually singing. So I guess it's just like bubbling out while we stream. I just start singing.
Yeah.
It was Celine Dion the other day, wasn't it?
Yes, okay. Celine Dion. That's a blast from the past.
Let's go back. Let's get back to it.
People still play Mambo number 5, though. I've heard it in the wild.
I've heard it in the wild. It's absolutely one of those like party songs. I think we played it at my birthday party. Okay, let's get back to it.
Yeah.
Focus. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to add a checkbox, and with CSS, when that checkbox is checked, we will show the content, and when it's not checked, we will not show the content. That's what we're trying to do. So let's do a div. And now, hopefully, we are not getting any weirdness. Yes. And then I will again, just Google input checkbox just to make sure that we do it correctly, because I do not remember these things. Okay, so input checkbox, and we also want a label, so we'll just copy all of that. I think maybe we could do a radio button. Wouldn't that be? No, do a checkbox. We do a checkbox. That's what I've done before. Okay, we'll need to put that into the div as well. And then we'll put the checkbox above. And we'll do share. We'll give it a name, share. And it's not checked. It's going to start out in a non-checked state. And we will give it a label share. So we're saying here that this label share, or this label is for the input named share. So the for, and I think it's the name or the ID. No, I think it's the name, has to match up. Or is it the ID? Let's see. Label. Don't want to give you any false, factually incorrect information here live on stream. It's the ID. So the for attribute has to be the ID. So we'll call it, and since the ID has to be unique, we'll call it share widget, just to be very specific. Okay, so now we have a checkbox and we have a div box, or we have the div box. So if we head on over here now, we have this little share and nothing happens. And we can't then add any JavaScript on the client, because that's not, what we're doing.
No.
That's where this neat trick comes in, because if we go down to our aside styling, we can say that if input, and I think it's just checked, if it's checked plus div, which is the next, so a plus div means we are looking at the next element. And if the next element is a div, we pick it. And if the input is checked, we're going to display it, but we're going to display fixed. And no, not fixed. We're going to display relative. No, that's not the display. We're going to display block, sorry. But if it is input, if it's not checked, then the plus div is going to be, display none. And I think here, because I think we need to do an and plus, and then and input and input. So we'll do an and input, just to be very specific. So if we have an input plus a div, we're going to display none. But if the input is checked, so we don't need the and, because this is below the aside. I've done all kinds of different versions of this, so maybe this will work. No, because it's not the input plus, right? Because we didn't put the input next to the div. We put it inside of its own div.
Look at this.
Oh,
hello, Oven Codes. It's a heart with a little skull in it. Whoa!
That is super cool.
That is
super cool. That is very piratey. We like it. Oh, and Stefan has given us some song lyrics. Share the make pod from an aside.
Yes.
Good one. Okay, so I think the issue for us was that, our input wasn't next to this div. No, so now I put the input next to the div. And you can actually, this input can be anywhere, and this label will still work. So if we click the label, it should also click the input. So I'm wondering if we do hidden on the input, if the label will still work. So we don't have to, well, we'll see then. Because now we should be seeing our thing. So now we have to figure out, I have done this before and I've made it work. So let's do it again. Let's try again. But at least we made it not show. So our input plus div actually works. So for Owen, who just arrived, we are creating a little share widget for our mix pods.
Yes.
which are a compilation of podcast episodes from different podcasts into a mix pod, aka a mixtape, if you're old like me. And we want to create this like shareable little widget where you can copy you can copy either a listen only link or a collaborative link, because we are only doing authorization based off of a pass key, like just a password, and that will give you access. We're not doing any authentication for this project. And we're trying to do everything without doing any client-side JavaScript, and that's why we're trying to hide and show this thing with CSS and not JavaScript. Okay, so input div, and then it's input checked, but how do you check for input checked? CSS input. I thought it was checked, and that's what Copilot gave us, but maybe not. No, it is. It is input. Input checked. So if it's checked, then we want to, something, I had written checkbox wrong, had I? Oh, no, it's not input checkbox, it's input checked, That's because we were listening to Copilot. So, let us not listen to Copilot. Okay, now then, look at that. Huh? What?
Oh, yeah.
What do you tell me?
Oh, yeah.
Is this awesome?
Yeah.
Or what?
Or what?
Or what, I tell you. That is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
And I think we can even do some pretty fun things. So let's just try now if we hide the checkbox and just leave the label, if that will also disable the checkbox if we leave the if we hide the input but not the label. So if we do hidden, if I click share now, oh, it still works. So that's cool, because we don't really want that checkbox there. And then we want the label to look more like a button. And I think I created a button class for us, blocks. Did I create like a button? Button. No, I think I did it on, we're just going to copy paste some things then. Let's go to our index. No. Let's have a look at our button here and just inspect, see how we're styling it. This is the issue when it's like 2 weeks since we did this. It's the nav menu. So let's just do that for our label, a side label for now, just to get the styling. So where did we find that nav menu? Nav. So I think it's this code. Text extrusion. No, well, we only need the background, the font weight, the padding, and the transition, and we need the hover. So we'll go down and we'll do a side legend. We'll get this styling. Or it's not legend, it's label. Okay, so now it looks like a button for us. Share, and we can click. Okay, that's good. We want it all the way over to the right so that it doesn't move back and forth and back and forth. So we'll do our label will be text aligned right. So now it's all the way up over there, and look at that. Well, why is it not staying there? Isn't it text aligned? Shouldn't it follow text align? Well, I guess the label can't. Well, then it needs to be 100%, which we don't want.
100%.
So
100%.
If we create a little div around the label only, the div will take up the full space of the width, and then our label can be on the right, and then this div needs to be right aligned. We are YOLOing styling here. I will clean up the styling, but we just want to make it work for now.
We just want it to be YOLO. Let's make it YOLO.
YOLO. We're YOLOing
YOLO,
some
YOLO,
siestas.
YOLO.
YOLOing. YOLO, YOLO, YOLO. Boo-doo. YOLO, YOLO, YOLO. Now we're being cowboys instead of pirates. Okay, so just to make sure that we only do that one, we'll do div. So the div first a child, the div first of type, I guess. It's the first of type. We'll do text align right.
All right.
So then it's not, but it doesn't like this. I mean, I feel like Copilot is at this point, it's just like making me even more stupid. I don't know.
But
oh, there it works.
So
look at that, folks.
Yeah,
look at it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sorry. I am a serious person, but it is it is Saturday. Okay, look at that.
It's party time.
Okay, so then we don't really need share this Mixpod, like, we have a title in the label. And then I don't really know what to do for close. Yeah, look, they just like have, it says share, and then this thing, it pops up underneath. So maybe we want to like make pretty similar design decision where the share button like doesn't have this background, but the next div has the background. So we're going to put the background on the second div. And then we can do not first of type. First of type. And then we'll do background floral white. And that looks a little bit closer to what we want. And the padding needs to go there as well. Yep. And then we'll do the fixed at 1M and 1M, so it moves down a little bit. Look at that. Now, now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
And then we'll remove that title from the aside, or we can. There we go. Yeah. And then we can just do password as a one of this. Password 2.
Oh yeah, skjønner.
Edit. And then I love how that came out in Norwegian. Did you read something in Norwegian right now?
Nope.
No. It's funny, I do my pirate pages in the morning, and I often start in one language and then I end up in another language. It depends on what I'm thinking about. So often I start like writing out, whatever is in my mind. And if it's tech related or it's something to do with like our business, it's often in English. And then I just keep it in English. But then I maybe I have a little bit of a pause. And then when I read it back afterwards, or like look at it, I'm like, well, that was English and that was Norwegian. Like I didn't even realize I was changing language while I was doing it. So I think a lot of like the English stuff, or a lot of the develop, or if I'm thinking about the business or development, it's very often in English. And when I was traveling with Becky, my cousin who lives in New York, she's from America. She's like my 4th cousin or 5th cousin or something like that. Some Norwegians left Norway and went to the States for, what they did back then. But we did a lot of traveling together when we was younger. We were 4 weeks in India together. And we would often wake up in, in the morning in the same bed. We were sleeping in these tiny little hostels in this shitty hostels in a double bed. And I would speak to her and she would look at me like made no sense. And after a while, she just said like, "Are you speaking to me in Norwegian again?" We were together almost 24/7. Like I felt, like she would know what I know, or I don't know what my brain was thinking, but because we were so kind of in sync, I didn't think about the fact that I was speaking Norwegian to her early in the morning. Like I woke up and I just started speaking Norwegian. So I find that fascinating. And she would just look at me. She's like, but then she started recognizing that it was Norwegian, and she could recognize that it was Norwegian. She was like, "Are you speaking Norwegian again to me?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." Okay.
That's cute.
Yeah. So, okay, we can write a little bit of instructions. We'll make it better, but copy paste the link you want to share with your friend.
Oh, yeah.
Copy paste the link you want to share with your friend. And then we'll make this a paragraph. Okay, so now we have copy paste the link you want to share with your friend. And then we have the two options. We're not going to style those now. And then we can do or.
Oh, Stefan said neat. He said neat.
Or share the name and password with them.
That's probably when it worked, don't you think?
Yes, I think that was for the toggle button hiding and showing other elements on the page without using JavaScript. To share with a friend or share the name, because then they can go and find the thing. So what do we call the name? Playlist ID. It should be here somewhere. Did we call it the edit playlist name? So then they can share the playlist name and password with them. So that would be the provided key. And key to unlock editing with them. Collaboration features with them. Collaboration features with them.
All right.
So now I do think we have a little bit of an issue of this just becoming super, super large. So we're going to set a max width of, I don't know, maybe 40 characters or something like that. So I've taken down the font size, and then we'll do a max width of 40 characters. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that looks much better. And then I'm just going to YOLO again, and we're going to put some margins on these paragraphs to make it look, to give it some breathing before we end up. There we go.
About that.
That looks a little bit better. Yeah, I think we are done. I think maybe we want a little bit of a space just over the div and the share button. So one way to do that would be to, if we do 0 again here, I could just give the first div a little bit of a padding. So let's do the first div a padding of 1em, and it will, align itself better.
Yeah.
So do we want this to come out from the side like that, or do we want it to also have this one padding? Okay, I am going back. I'm going back on my change.
That's okay.
Okay. And then we'll just do a margin bottom of 1em. Look at me. Look at me YOLOing. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
And now I am wondering if there is a way to transition this. Because I know we can transition hiding and unhiding. But maybe we could transition like the height so that it would like fold itself down with a CSS transition. But we're not going to do that now because we're already way past the hour, and obviously this does not look like it will look in the end. Like we'll make something that is a little nicer on the eyes, but we've actually managed to do what we set out to do. I can now send this to my friend, this URL here. I can send it to my friend, and they can keep on adding to this Mixpod.
Yes.
But we also wanted to fix a tiny bug because we have an issue now. If I go here and do JavaScript, I search, and then I don't want to do anything, and I go back, I lose my editing abilities. Well, aren't you supposed to even Mixpod? It's supposed to go back to the your state, or is it here? Let me see. What am I thinking now? Edit. Oh, so the edit button? What is happening? I can search, but I can't edit. So the search button takes me back to the edit button. The edit button was working earlier today. Let's see. Edit. Where is my edit? Yeah. It should take me to edit and key, provided key. Okay, so let's go back. JavaScript Mixpod. What was the what was the key for this though? It wasn't Coral Cockroach. It was one of the other ones. It was something. That's why it's not working. What was it? I think we'll need to go into our studio to figure out. And see, this is going to be the issue because we need people to save. They need to, remember that password or save that password somewhere. So we need to indicate that as they are creating their Mixpod. And then we can also later, when we have finished proving that we can do this without client-side JavaScript, we could do some like local storage fun where we actually kind of store your latest, with the editable features or with the key there. So, but wasn't it Astro Studio? There was a way
we're
to
not storing it anywhere, are we?
No, we are not storing it anywhere. We're storing it in our database, obviously. But we are not storing it anywhere for the user. So what was Drizzle ORM, Drizzle Studio.
The Drizzle Studio. Okay.
Yes. Then we can see our database and we can actually see what the we can see, what the password was for this one.
You found it?
Yeah. So the JavaScript, it was the giant red Chewbacca. Oh. So if we do the giant red Chewbacca, then we're allowed to edit. Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So now we can edit. And if we edit and we go back, we can only go back like this. And then if I do JavaScript, I'm allowed on this page because I have the giant red Chewbacca. But then if I go back here on the your Mixpod, we lose that key again. So we need to fix that. So that's like a bug. So let me we will commit what we've done now. Commit staged amend. And it's no longer a whip, it's a feature. We did share widget, but it's ugly, but it's, it's there.
It's
so
working.
It's actually full feature. And then we'll fix that bug and then we're done for the day.
Yes.
So that was on the search page. We are not sending the correct, we're not using the correct URL on your Mixpod here. We're just sending the path and not the key.
And later today we will get visitors from Denmark.
Yes.
That is
so
cool.
We need pretty soon we need, but I also said like I want to use this for tutorial videos, and when you do tutorials videos, it's nice to have everything clearly present in the code. But if I was going to do, and I'm again talking to the wrong camera, but if I was going to do that, if this is a real application, I would definitely, handle URLs in its own module in a way, like our authenticated versus our non-authenticated URLs in a module, so that, if we change our approach, it would change everywhere without me having to copy paste and change everywhere. So, but if I'm going to create short tutorials on this for YouTube, it's often better to have the code very visible, like the code that is happening in the actual file that it's happening, instead of jumping around to different files and looking at all the helper functions. But I would probably also in those tutorials show how could you put this into a helper function at the end. So we'll do something like that. And this code is totally open source. It's on the Queen Raae GitHub organization. And if you want to add things or if you want to style things, please, you're welcome to contribute with your ideas. Like, just make an issue of whatever you want to do, and I'll be like yay or nay, or yay but a little bit different. Totally something that we're open to. Okay,
Yes.
so now it should work, where if I go back here, I'm on the giant red Chewbacca key, and I go back to Mixpod, and no, it's not working because
oh no, da bum bum.
I don't think it had changed. So I always want the key to be at the end. So let's have the key at the end. That's what we're having here. Ooh, now what am I doing? And key. So I also want to preserve the query in case I want to do that query again. Okay. So why is this not working then? Oh,
okay.
Yeah, now it's working. So you can search, you can choose an episode, or you can go back and you still have that query here. This is not JavaScript. This is just browser capabilities. The browser will let you do this for us. It will exit out. And then also, if you don't write anything and you click search, you're going to get this, please fill in this field. And that is also not client-side JavaScript. That is the browser, because we've said that the input should be required. It is required, and the user won't be able to submit the form. So this is all leaning into the browser, as the framework. Okay, we fixed that bug too. So let's do that. Fix back button losing authentication bug. Okay, and I will push that up to GitHub.
To the GitHub.
To the GitHub. To the GitHub. Isn't that also a song? Do 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 do.
Yeah.
Do 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 do.
Probably.
To the GitHub. To the cloud. To the GitHub. To the railway. To the GitHub. To the Netlify.
The railway. Oh yeah, the railway. We're still. I'm not used to that railway thing yet. It's. I forgot it. Maybe it's such a long time ago since we did that. I don't know.
Yeah. So I think we can actually merge this to the Tiny Stack repo. I do want to style that widget first, though. I'll do that first. Okay. That was today's episode. I'm just going to be clicking this over here for ever and ever and ever and ever.
Let's sum it up.
Oh, last note on this way of doing it. You click share. If you click outside, it will not close.
Yeah.
So you can still, we could probably do an overlay where the label becomes the whole site or the whole page. So if you click anywhere, it will actually toggle, but then you would obstruct all of these other interactions. So I don't think we should do that here, but that could be a way of doing it without JavaScript. Okay. So what did we do? Do you want to hold up our chit-chit?
Okay. What did we do? Shareable.
So what? Today we created this little widget to be able to let the user be able to share a listen-only URL or a editable URL that we call the collaboration URL We did not spend a lot of time styling this widget, as you can see, but we got the functionality working without any client-side JavaScript.
Oh yeah.
And why on the shareable part is that, and I'm again talking to the wrong camera, why on the shareable part is that we want somebody who creates a Mixpod either to kind of create it for themselves or gift it to somebody as like, these are the episodes that I want you to have. You know, that's one use case. And the other use case is that maybe Ola and I want to collaborate on a Mixpod on a topic. So then he'll add, you know, his episodes that he find interesting about JavaScript, and then I'll add the ones I find interesting. And then maybe we'd even, you know, share the collaborative URL with the folks here, you know, online, you know, those kinds of things. And we don't want to authenticate anybody at this point. So you'll only share it with people you trust. So that is the why for the shareable stuff. The why on you doing this without JavaScript is that in this project, we are pushing ourselves to not use any client-side JavaScript. So everything is rendered on the server, and it's kind of just an exercise to recondition ourselves after being in single page application land for so long, and React specifically. I just find it really fun to go back to the roots. I do think, though, in the end, we'll sprinkle on a tiny bit of JavaScript on top.
Oh no!
Like making these links, like making a little button that lets you copy paste or copy these links with only a click, and maybe some like other little things. But that would then be what we call progressive enhancement, because if you turn off JavaScript, the page would still be fully functional. But if you have JavaScript on, you will get, you know, a tiny bit of added functionality that is nice to have. And the how is actually that I thought it was going to be super complex, but we drew it down, and then I just realized we just had to, you know, print out the editable URL, print out the editable URL, print out the non-editable URL that we are now calling listen only, because that is more appropriate for our case. And then we can also display the password so that somebody could just share that the name is JavaScript Mixpod and that the key is giant red Chewbacca, because our next step is that on a non-editable URL. So if we head on over and we remove our key, so if somebody jumps onto this page, got shared this, you know, non-editable one, non-collaborative URL, listen only URL is what we called it. Yeah. If now somebody shares this listen only URL, we would, oh, now I see we forgot to remove the share aspect. If you are on the listen only, we'll do that afterwards. But so if you were on this listen only, we could have a little button like this one that says like edit ? Or like collaborate ? And then somebody could just put in the passkey instead of getting the full link from their friend. You know, I could just call it all up and I'll be like, hey, head on over to, you know, mixpod.app/4 and type in Chewbacca, or what was the giant
and
red
you're
Chewbacca.
Good to go. You're good to
and
go.
You're good to go. So yeah, that's a way of doing it. So the how again was that we wrote it out and we realized it wasn't that hard. We were just going to display some text. And then what we really had fun with was making this shareable button hide and show parts of the DOM using CSS only. And how we did that is that we created where is it? I'm going to find it and then talk through it so I don't scroll up and down and up and down and up and down, because that is super annoying. I know. We created a checkbox that we are hiding, but it has a label that is visible. And when you click a label, it will also, when you click a label, that will also do the action that would happen if you click the input. And we just wrapped it in a div for styling purposes. But what was important for us is that this input needs, for our CSS, it needs to be above the div that it's showing or hiding. Because then we can use the adjacent, I guess, part of CSS, the plus. So if we have an input and the next thing is a div, we're not going to display it. But then if the input is checked, we are going to display it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important that these two are above each other for this CSS. I do think you can get even more creative about how you just how you structure the DOM elements by using has, because that can look inside an element and use that state outside the element. If I haven't been playing around with has much, but since I haven't been playing around with has much, we just do it with what like old style CSS, or like one of the other ways of doing it with CSS, where is that we say that if something next to me, or the next thing in the DOM, the next thing in the DOM or in the HTML code, we'll target that. So if input is checked, if the next HTML element is a div, we're going to display it. And if it's not checked, we're going to not display it.
Oi!
So that's what we did.
Great
and I
work.
think it is a neat little trick that we learned here, that you can do a lot of things with CSS these days.
Yes. So, happy holidays, everybody.
What holiday is that, Ola? Because not everybody celebrates that holiday over across the world.
Happy Christmas holiday, everybody. No, I mean, happy piratey Portugal holiday to us.
To us, and Easter for those who celebrate, because that will be happening next week in our country, from Thursday next week in our country, and then I believe other countries are celebrating it the week after, and we'll be in Portugal. So it's going to be 4 weeks until we, I think maybe 5 weeks until we see you again, guys.
Yes.
Pirates. See you again, pirates. Web dev pirates.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But follow along on YouTube, because we will be doing some vlogging from Portugal tomorrow or Monday. The Pirate Princesses behind the scene video is coming.
Maybe coming.
No, it's, I mean, she is almost done. Like, she has a couple of tweaks left. So our daughter, aka the Pirate Princess, has been working on the behind the scene video that shows how it looks, around me and behind me while we are streaming. It's not what it looks like, I'll tell you that. And she wants to get that done, and we'll get that out on the YouTube channel. And so that will be happening in a couple of days. So head on over to YouTube and search for Queen Raae, and fun things will happen, even though we're not live streaming for another 5 weeks. And also, I'm just going to remember that, because if you head on over to Queen Raae Codes, you can sign up for our newsletter. It only comes out twice a month, and it will tell you about our schedule, and also will link to fun things we find around the internet and thoughts we are having in the dev creator space, as well as coding. Okay?
Okay. Bye, everybody.
It's not making any sound. Okay.